Hello, I'm glad you're back. Now, when we left, we was talking about to understand what 2300 days, how it represent, what it represents. In Daniel chapter 8, verse 14, it says, unto 2,300 days, then shall the sanctuary be cleansed. Now, what is that saying? We have to understand, since this was a prophecy, we have to understand why, what does 2300 days represent? Well, the Bible tells us that a day is for a year. In Ezekiel chapter 4 and verse 6, it says, and when thou hast accomplished them, lie again on thy right side, and thou shalt bear the iniquity of the house of Judah 40 days. I have appointed thee each day for a year. So that tells us there what? That God has appointed a day for a year in prophecy. Let's see if there's another reference for it, because by the mouth of two witnesses, everything shall be stopped. In Numbers chapter 14, verse 34. Numbers 14, verse 34, it reads, after the number of the days in which ye search the land, even 40 years, each day for a year, shall ye bear your iniquities, even 40 years, and ye shall know my breach of promise. So God said, so in this interpretation, it's 2,300 years, not 2,300 days, but 2,300 years, according to Bible interpretation and Bible prophecy. Now, let's continue. Now, in chapter 9 of Daniel, in verse 27, starting at verse 22, we get an explanation of what Daniel saw. Because Daniel, the Bible goes on to say that Daniel was sick certain days. I mean, it would be too if I thought I was going to be in bondage for 2,300 years. I would be puzzled and perplexed too. And Daniel was. But he asked God, and God came through just like he did when Daniel was with Nebuchadnezzar. Came through again. And listen what it said in verse 21. Yea, while I was speaking in prayer, while he was praying, and we need to do a whole lot more of that, don't we? Even the man Gabriel, whom I had seen in the vision at the beginning, being called to fly swiftly, touched me about the time of the evening oblation. Verse 22. And he informed me and talked with me and said, O Daniel, I am now come forth to give thee what? Skill and understanding. Verse 23. At the beginning of thy supplication, the commandment came forth, and I am come to show thee, for thou art greatly beloved. Therefore understand the matter and consider the vision. Now, the angel Gabriel is about to break it down. 70 weeks are determined upon thy people. 70 weeks are determined upon my people to do what? And upon thy holy city to do what? To finish the transgression. And to do what? To make an end of sin. And to do what? And to make reconciliation for iniquity. And to do what? And to bring in everlasting righteousness. And to seal up the vision and prophecy. And to anoint the most holy. Very important. We're going to talk about that in most holy. So 70 weeks are determined upon thy people. So how many years is that? 70 weeks. Remember, each day for a year. So 70 weeks times 7 days equal 490 years. So right there, we take this 490 years and we cut it off. For what? For thy people. 490 years, the Jews had an opportunity to get it together. Daniel's people, they were Jews. Okay? Now, when does it start? Well, God did not. God gave us the time for it to start. Verse 25. Know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem unto the Messiah the Prince shall be 7 weeks and 62 weeks. The street shall be built again, and the wall even in troublous time. Now listen. Know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem. Well, when is that? That, my friend, came in Ezra. Chapter 5. Let's read it and see what it says. Ezra, chapter 5. since that is a difficult book to find. We're going to take our time and get to it. Ezra. Go to Chronicles, and right after Chronicles, right after Second Chronicle, go to Ezra. And Ezra chapter 5, I want you to listen to this. It says, in Ezra chapter 5, we're going to start at verse 12, and it reads, let's start at verse 11. And thus they returned his answer, saying, we are the servants of the God of heaven and earth, and build the house that was built these many years ago, which a great king of Israel built and set up. That great king, of course, was Solomon. Verse 12. But after that our fathers had provoked the God of heaven unto wrath, he gave him into the hand, who? Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, the Chaldeans, who destroyed his house and carried the people away into Babylon. Verse 13. But in the first year of Cyrus, the king of Babylon, the same king Cyrus made a decree to build this house of God. Now, this king made a decree, Cyrus made a decree to build a house of God. But it was Ezra that gave him, it was Artaxerxes that gave him the right to do it. Let's go to Ezra chapter, where I want to go here? Ezra chapter 6. Here we go. In verse 14. And the elders of the Jews built, and they prospered through the prophesying of Hezekiah, Haggai the prophet, and Zechariah the son of Iddo. And they built and finished it according to the commandment of the God of Israel, and according to the commandment of Cyrus and Darius, and who? Artaxerxes, king of Persia. And this house was the finished on the 3rd day of the month of Adar, which was in the 6th year of the reign of Darius the king. And this happened exactly on time. 7 weeks later, 49 years after the commandment to build it was given, 49 years later, because 7 weeks, 7 times 7 is 49. So 49 years later, it was built again. But now, look what it said. From that time to the Messiah the Prince was next. And it said, and 62 weeks, the street shall be built again, and the wall, even in troublous times. And remember, it said it was troublous times, but here we go. So from that time, after that, they had 62 weeks. A score is equal to what? 20. And 3 times 20 is 60. And 2, that's 2 weeks. But how many days is it? That's 434 days. Now you take the 434 and you add the 49, you get what? How many days you get? You see me looking at the computer? I don't know myself, huh? Yes, I do. It's 483. Gotcha. But 483 years. At the end of the 483 years, something special was going to happen. Matter of fact, it says unto the Messiah the Prince. Wow. Now, if we took it and we saw from 457 BC to 483, it'd have to be in the 80. We come up with something around 27 AD. Something happened in 27 AD. Want me to tell you? Do you really want to know? Of course you do. Let's go in the book. Let's go to the Bible, to the book of Matthew. In the New Testament, Matthew. And we go into Matthew chapter, let's see, I think it's Matthew chapter 2. Chapter 3. Matthew chapter 3. It was noised abroad. There was a young man preaching in the wilderness named John the Baptist. In Matthew chapter 3, verse 1, in those days came John the Baptist preaching in the wilderness of Judah and saying, repent ye, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Sound like something I've been trying to say for the last few minutes, huh? Repent. High time you wake out of sleep. Because judgment is beginning. Anyway, in those days came John the Baptist preaching in the wilderness of Judea and saying, repent ye, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. For this is he that was spoken of by the prophet Isaiah, saying, the voice of one crying in the wilderness, prepare ye the way of the Lord, make his path straight. And the story goes on telling us about John and how the Pharisees came to him. And I like that part, but I want to get down to the really good part about the Messiah. To anoint the most holy. Verse 13. Then cometh Jesus from Galilee to Jordan unto John to do what? To be baptized of him, to be anointed. But John forbade him, saying, I have need to be baptized of thee, and comest thou to me? And Jesus answered and said unto him, listen to these words very carefully. Suffer it to be so now, for thus it becomes us to fulfill all what? Righteousness. Now let's go back to Daniel chapter 9 real quick. Wait. Daniel chapter 9, it says, when you read it, it says, as you go over, just scan over with me, 7 weeks are determined upon thy people. We talked about that. And upon the holy city to finish the transgression, and to make an end of sin, and to make reconciliation for iniquity, and to bring in everlasting hope. And Jesus says, suffer to be so now, to fulfill all what? Righteousness. Then it says, then John suffered it. And Jesus, when he was baptized, went up straightway out of the water, and lo, the heavens opened unto him, and he saw anointing, the Spirit of God descending like a dove and lighting upon him. And lo, a voice from heaven saying, this is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. 80:27. Right on time, my brothers and sisters. But that's not the end of the prophecy. Let's go back. Daniel chapter 9. This is getting good, isn't it? I know. I enjoy this part. Now, so after 62 weeks shall the Messiah be cut off. But not for himself. So after the 62 weeks, the Messiah that came, he going to be cut off. And the people of the prince that shall come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary, and the end thereof shall be with the flood, unto the end of the war, desolation are determined. Now look at verse 27. And he shall confirm the covenant with many for how long? For 1 week. Now, that's 7 days. So now, let's go back real quick. We got 62 weeks. That's 7 days a week. That's 434 years. We add 49 to that, and we get 483. But we add 1 more week to that. What we got? 490. So Christ came, and it said, and confirmed the covenant of many for 1 week. But in the midst of the week, what happens? Stay tuned. And we'll find out what happens next. Oh, the story only getting better. Because God's timeline is right on time. And we're going to talk about our day. And yeah, when you come back, maybe 2 more sections. Don't worry, I won't keep it long. But thank you for listening. Hold on. We at Mission Possible sure enjoy you listening in. And if you got any questions or comments, please let us know. If we're telling you error, let us know. If you don't like the way we look, even let us know. We don't care. We just want to talk to you. Give us a chance. Thank you. And hold on. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back.